what's up everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we're doing the recap from the Showtime pay-per-view card that took place Saturday, March 25th. Yeah, we're just gonna, go over what happened in the Benavidez versus Plant card. Now, before we get into that, guys, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support I can get. Just trying to build my channel up, so I appreciate anything. But back to Benavidez and Plant, the whole card. Again, didn't see it, watched the highlights. Gonna start with Cody Crowley taking on Abel Ramos. This ended up being a very good fight. You had Cody Crowley fighting on a lot of emotion. His father, took his own life 9 months ago. So this was a very highly emotional fight for Crowley. And he went in there against the still very good veteran Abel Ramos, who was coming off that upset loss to Jose San Martin last year. And I really think you saw that that was more of a loss where he was overlooking his opponent as opposed to this is who he really is, because Ramos went out there and battled Cody Crowley. Very good fight. They went at it, and Crowley walked away with a close majority decision victory as he pushes himself one step closer to a potential world title shot. But it definitely was not easy. Even though he was fighting on a lot of emotion, he really had to dig deep to beat the veteran Ramos. And, Ramos really showed why he is potentially a top 10 guy still. I mean, I got to reevaluate to see if he gets a what's next video. But, man, he really did prove in this fight against Crowley that he deserves to be mentioned in the welterweight division. So we're going to see. We're definitely going to take a look at both these guys. Crowley definitely a top 10 guy, so we'll be doing a what's next on him. But Abel Ramos, if we don't do a what's next on him, he definitely deserves to still get opportunities, and good thing for him, he fights with the PBC, and 147 is a PBC division. So that was very good that he went out there and showed what he's got, that he's not done, that he still wants to stay in the mix and do well. The next fight saw, it was Chris Colbert against Jose Valenzuela at lightweight, and Colbert did it. He got put down hard in the first round, and then a lot of people thought he got outworked by the power punching Valenzuela. Colbert walked away with a unanimous decision in this one, though. A lot of people think it was a controversial decision. I didn't see the fight. I watched the highlights. It's tough to tell when you watch the highlights, but for all intents and purposes, it was a highly questionable, definitely controversial decision, and Chris Colbert wins his debut at lightweight. But I watched his post-fight press conference. This guy wants nothing to do with the lightweight division. He said that he's going back down to his weight of 130, and he's not interested in fighting at 135. So he escaped by the skin of his teeth. He got a questionable victory. If he, the fact that he's saying he's moving back down to 130, we'll see if he gets ranked there. I'll be honest, I don't know. He wasn't in my top 10 because he hasn't beaten anybody very credible at 130 or in general. And I don't think a controversial win over Valenzuela throws him into the top 10, but it might. So I got to reevaluate and see if he deserves to be in the top 10 at 130. But he definitely did not have a great lightweight debut, but he walked away with a win. Valenzuela, even if he would have beaten Chris Colbert, I'm not sure that gets him a top 10 spot, especially him coming off that loss prior in his last fight prior to Colbert. So he won't get a what's next either, but he's definitely in the mix and deserves to be in the mix following a very good performance in a fight that he might have won. So we'll see. In the co-feature, you had the undefeated Jesus Ramos get a very nice stoppage victory over Joey Spencer. Two undefeateds going at it, young guys. Ramos gets the win. Good performance for him. I don't think that's going to guarantee him a top 10 spot at 154, but he's he's definitely on the rise, and he got a co-feature spot, which was big. But the main event, you had David Benavidez against Caleb Plant for the interim super middleweight title. And this fight did not disappoint. You had Caleb Plant that pretty much was kind of counterpunching and maybe outboxing Benavidez in the first half of the fight. I mean, again, I didn't see the fight, but I watched the highlights. But from reading what I saw, reading and watching the highlights, it looked like Plant was winning, the first half, or it was an even type fight, and then Benavidez just took over in the second half and wore down and beat up Caleb Plant. So, a lot of people didn't think he could get a points win over Caleb Plant. I personally did. I thought he could overwhelm him with his punches. How often he punches. I didn't think Plant could hurt or knock out Benavidez. But, after the way he knocked out Darrell, you can never tell that. Anything could come at any moment. But David Benavidez went out there and got a clear-cut victory here and a unanimous decision, and that was impressive. So very, very big win for Benavidez. I think the biggest of his career, given the high stakes of the fight, and now he's directly in line for Canelo. But we'll talk about that more on his what's next. But Caleb Plant also, I've went back and forth with this guy since I noticed him. I wasn't that impressed when he beat Rogelio Medina. He outboxed him, but he stayed away from him. He didn't kind of try to go out there and dominate. Then when he beat Jose Ustadegi, it was an impressive performance, and then you hear the story, the backstory of him losing his daughter, his baby daughter. It's just such a soul-crushing thing. But then all the shit that he talked prior to the Canelo fight, yeah, I get you're trying to build up a fight and all that stuff, but he was doing okay, but then Canelo stopped him and knocked him out. But then the excuses after that, Canelo was dirty and all that kind of stuff. That pissed me off. But then he goes and overly impresses again by knocking out Darrell. I didn't like the whole grave digging thing that he did. I didn't like it, but, so I kind of have gone back and forth with Caleb Plant. But the class that he showed in his message after the loss to Benavidez, that they fought, and he gave Benavidez his props and said, hey, he was the better man, and we settled it like man in the ring. Much props to Caleb Plant. He really proved in this fight, and we're going to see also when John Ryder and Canelo fight, he really proved that he is definitely probably the number 3 guy at super middleweight. And there ain't nothing wrong with that when you've lost to the top 2 guys and competed against the top 2 guys. Canelo and Benavidez did decisively beat Caleb Plant, but Caleb Plant competed, went out on his shield. And next week when we do our what's next, we'll discuss what he's got coming up potentially following this defeat. But nothing to hang his head about. He fought his ass off, and I was highly impressed with Caleb Plant in this fight. So, and he did say he'll be back. So, congrats to him. Congrats to David Benavidez on a big-time victory. And that's it. That's what I got. That's my recap from the March 25th Showtime card that saw David Benavidez and Caleb Plant in the main event for the interim WBC super middleweight title. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.